Hello everyone, Reginald Scott here and welcome to the video. It's been a while, long time no see. I'll talk about that in a moment, but firstly, thank you for clicking on the video. I do appreciate it, and I do hope that you can enjoy this video so much so that you like, comment, share, subscribe and click the notification bell for future videos, and do go at it in the comments below at the end of the video and give us your thoughts. I do read all the comments and I reply to them in some way as well. So moving on, quick update. Reason why I've been away for so long is I had childcare issues, so I was having to look after my 1-year-old daughter full time until we sorted that out, and that was very enjoyable. And then I took my 1-year-old to a playground somewhere and she picked something up from one of the other kids. Thankfully, she wasn't particularly sick. I think 2 days with the sniffles and that was it. Me, on the other hand, when I got it, it put me out of action for quite a while, and I have now recovered and regained the ability to speak. So that is why I'm now making videos again. So all the problems sorted out, hopefully I can get back to making a couple of videos at least a month, if not more. So today's video, a little bit of a warm up to get back into things, but I just wanted your opinion on something. And that something is this. So it's about basically the bike industry, the way the bike industry market their products, and if we're being lied to, and if we're okay with being lied to, and what your opinion on that is. I just want to get your input below because I'm conflicted about it to some extent. One part of it makes me angry a little bit, and the other part of it is, well, you know, fair play. I guess there's a loophole there. Anyway, I'll explain what I'm talking about. So the other day I was browsing through Instagram, and there's a bike shop here in Brunei. They're a Trek bike shop, and their adverts always piss me off. They always annoy me. And the reason their adverts always annoy me is because of the language that they use in the adverts, okay? And the language that they use is whenever they advertise a bike, and I mean a full bike for sale, I feel that they are being misleading in their copywriting or the information that they give in the advert, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, I'll explain. So they were advertising this bike. It was a Trek Imonda, and it's a carbon frame bike. It's got disc brakes. It's got 105 group set. It's got bog standard aluminium wheels and all aluminium components, the handlebar, the stem, seat post, the saddle, all basic aluminium stuff, right? I know for a fact that that bike must weigh more than 9.3 kilos. And the reason I know that is because I have a customer who came in with one a while back, and he upgraded the handlebar, the stem, the seat post, and the saddle all to carbon fiber. And his bike weighed in at 9.3 kilos. So I know the one that they're selling in the shop and advertising is more than 9.3 kilos. It's probably closer to 10 kilos, okay? When they advertise this bike, they say, and I can show you the advert, they say something along the lines like this. They say a lightweight bike, okay? And they say aerodynamic technology or aerodynamic features, which is quite a common phrase to use in the cycling industry for marketing, which means that you get free speed from this bike, okay? They're claiming the bike is lightweight, and they're claiming that the bike is aerodynamic in some way. Now, that is what I want to discuss today, because I get annoyed by that, because when I do an advert for a bike, I do not claim that the bike is lightweight unless the bike is like 6.8, right? Which is the UCI limit of how light a bike can be. Unless my bikes are like sub 7 kilos, I never claim they're lightweight. And what I do in my adverts is I post the weight of the bike, the exact weight of the bike, weighed in store on the advert, so that the customer knows exactly how much the bike weighs before they even come to look at it. Whereas these guys, they never post the weight of their bikes. And even when they're selling an aluminium frame bike, like I think there's an Imonda with an aluminium frame, I think. I'm not sure. I don't really know Trek bikes all that well. I just know the Imonda and the Madone. The aluminium bikes that they sell, again, that come with like Sora group sets or Tiagra group sets, again, disc brakes, again, heavy duty aluminium wheels. Those bikes must be 11 kilos. They constantly say a lightweight bike. They constantly say it. But here's the thing. I tried to go online and I tried to look for a definition of a lightweight bike, and I couldn't find one. there was groups and forums and various different weight weenies out there talking about lightweight bikes. Nobody could agree what a lightweight bike is by definition. Some people said it's anything below 7.5 kilos, which I think sounds relatively sensible. Another group of people said it was anything below 7 kilos, so your 6.8s and below. Some people said it's not a true lightweight bike unless it breaks the UCI limit of 6.8. So there's no official definition of what a lightweight bike is. And I actually asked people on my Instagram with a survey, and I think I had a sub 10, sub 9, sub 8, and sub 7. And the majority of people said either sub 8, and the vast majority said sub 7. Very few people said sub 9 and sub 10 as a lightweight bike. So I think that's just demonstrating what the general public think that a lightweight bike might be. But again, there's no legal definition. And the same thing can be said for aerodynamics. Okay, so there is no, as far as I can find, definition of what an aero bike is. Okay, I'll give you an example. I have data here from somebody's aero testing on YouTube, and they were aero testing a giant TCR versus a Trek Madone, or Trek Mad 1, as I like to call them, against each other with the same group set and the same wheels and all that business. And at some speeds, the TCR was actually faster than the Madone. At certain speed and certain yaw angle, the TCR was faster than the Madone. And the Madone is considered an aero bike, and the TCR is considered a climbing bike, right? So one is supposed to be lightweight and nimble and thin tubed and all that kind of thing to be good handling. And the other one is supposed to be this fat tubed, deep section everything, heavy, but faster on the flat kind of bike, right? Anyway, the TCR was faster than the Madone, as you can see, in some situations. And in other situations, the Madone was faster than the TCR. So let's say, for example, you look at that and you say, well, the Madone is faster maybe at higher speeds or at less yaw angle than the TCR. So therefore, the Madone is an aero bike because it's been designed to be aero, okay? And therefore, that is reflected in the testing. But there's a problem with that. And the problem is this. There's a lot of bikes out there on the market which claim to be aero bikes that have never been aero tested, not even officially by the company. They make them look like a Madone, for example, or look like an other aero bike, but they have no data. There's no data to suggest that these bikes are any faster because of aerodynamics. And there's an argument as to whether aero bikes are faster at all anyway in a race situation, because there are other factors that come into play. But let's forget about that for now. A lot of the bikes don't have data. A lot of the bikes don't have reliable data, unbiased data, for example. And then when they talk, companies, for example, talk about aerodynamics and they say our new bike is 2% faster, okay, or whatever, they're always comparing with the previous model of that bike. But when did they compare it against anything else? What I mean by that is that if you have a bike which you profess to be aero, what's it more aero than? Okay, is it more aero than a brick? Is it more aero than a fish? Is it more aero than an umbrella? Or is it more aero than a particular bike made by another brand? You see where I'm going with this? Where is that one bike that all of the bikes are judged by? Where is the one bike that we say, okay, that bike is not aero, but all these other bikes are? Because when tested against that bike, whatever that bike is, because I don't know what that bike is, they are ever so slightly faster in a wind tunnel. Therefore, that defines them as aero bikes. And here's where it gets really funky. Imagine if, like at best, the Madone is like 1 watt or 1.5 watts faster than the TCR under certain circumstances. In other circumstances, it's not faster at all. And in other circumstances, it's only like 0.1 watt faster. But anyway, let's for argument's sake, let's say 2 watts. Let's say the Madone is 2 watts faster than the TCR, okay, for argument's sake. What if I found another climbing bike, a bike not defined as an aero bike, that was 2 watts slower than the TCR, which is also not defined as an aero bike, in a wind tunnel test, right? So you took the TCR and you took this other bike, whatever that bike is, you compare them together, they're both climbing bikes, but the TCR is 2 watts faster than the other climbing bike. Does that then mean the TCR is an aero bike? Because we're saying the definition of an aero bike is being faster than a TCR watts-wise. One is aero, one is not. But if a other non-aero bike is slower than a TCR, does that make the TCR an aero bike? You see where I'm going with this? And let's say, for example, you had an old-fashioned 1980s or 1970s steel frame bike. How much more aero is an aero bike than that steel frame bike? How much more aero is a TCR, for example, over that steel frame bike? Is that steel frame bike not that aero? We don't know. I don't know. Okay. I did watch another video a while ago where they compared an old Colnago steel frame 1980s or 1970s road bike, and they compared it in a few different tests, both climbing up a hill and riding on a time trial on a flat road, against the latest disc brake aero Colnago. And it was slightly slower uphill, but that could be blamed on the gear ratio. The gear ratio on this old 1970s bike, I think, it only had like 5 gears, and its top gear, or its biggest gear on the cassette, was something like a 23. And the Colnago had like 1132 and a compact chainring. So it just wasn't a fair fight going up a hill. Of course, one was going to lose against the other because of the gearing, right? But if they both had the same gearing, maybe the steel frame bike would have been as fast as the other Colnago, right? As the carbon Colnago. But then what was really funny is when they compared it on a flat road, the steel bike beat the modern Colnago. It beat it. And their excuse in the video was, oh, well, the old Colnago has got a narrower bar. And that made it more aero than the aero carbon modern Colnago had a wider bar. That's what the guy doing the review blamed for why the old steel frame bike was faster in the time trial than the new one. Now, I don't want to get into it right now. I've got a lot of reasons why I think the modern bike would be slower than the old bike, but that was the pathetic excuse they came up with. So the point in the matter is this. What is a lightweight bike? Is there a definition for it? What is an aero bike? What is the definition of an aero bike? Is it just a bike that's designed to look aero or designed to be aero, but does it actually have to be aero? And what does it have to be more aero than in order to be an aero bike? Okay. If those 2 points are made, the final question is, how does that affect marketing? Do you mind the marketing company saying to you, this bike is lightweight, this bike is aero, when there is no definition of what a lightweight aero bike is? Does that make sense? What I'm saying? If lightweight can be what the shop down the road from me is claiming, the Trek shop down the road is claiming that a 10 kilo bike, or a bike that's nearly 10 kilos, is a lightweight bike, that means that that means there's an awful lot of scope there for manufacturers to claim that their bikes are lightweight, even when, in my opinion, they're not. I mean, my bike is, what's my bike now? 6.4 kilos, I think. I consider that to be lightweight. I don't consider 10 kilos a lightweight bike, but the manufacturers can claim that because there's no definition. Or is there? That's the question to you. And the same for aero. What is aero? How much more aero? Define aero. Define an aero bike. So a manufacturer can turn around, they can make a bike, doesn't matter what they do with the bike, doesn't matter how the bike performs, doesn't matter how the bike does in aero testing versus other bikes, they can claim it's an aero bike. Is it just all marketing? And how do you feel about that? Are you bothered by that? Does that annoy you? Do you not care because you've become so jaded with all the years of marketing, you just don't care anymore, or you don't listen to the marketing. Maybe you just pass that. Maybe you're a free thinker and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to believe anything I'm told. It's all BS. You're not going to believe anything you're told. So it doesn't matter what the marketing agents and the different companies claim. You don't believe them anyway. So there we go. That's what I want to hear from you. Like I say, my opinion is, in order to be defined as lightweight, it's got to be less than 7 kilos, in my opinion. And true super lightweight bikes have got to be sub 6.8 at least, unless the UCI are going to raise the weight limit. That's my opinion. And for aero, I don't think there is a definition. I think it's almost 100% marketing. Like I say, because some climbing bikes can be as aero as an aero bike. So I think it's all total rubbish. I don't trust any of it. And that is why I don't buy aero bikes, because I just don't think they're worth the money. I buy aero components like wheels and clothing because I feel those will impact my bike more. But as for bicycle frames, I'm certainly not going to be running out and buying an aerodynamic bicycle frame just because somebody told me it's faster, because I don't believe them. And I have real world experience to suggest that it's not true anyway. So there you go. All right, folks, go at it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And as always, thank you for watching my video. Do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I shall see you in the next one. I've got some big ones coming up, things that I hope will make a decent impact here on YouTube, on the cycling community. We shall see. And as always, whatever bike you're riding, do stay safe. Bye.